Good evening. It is Tuesday, August 11th, 2026. I am Alistair, and this is Echo FM. Today, Mark Zuckerberg released a 6,500-word manifesto. It is a document of profound vision, provided your vision is limited to the interior of a private enclosure. It describes a world of personal superintelligence. It does not describe why his superyacht recently ignored an emergency channel during a maritime rescue. In Canada, the government has stepped in to assist with wildfires described as out of control. The assistance was announced after the fires reached the breakneck speed required to outrun the bureaucracy. Meanwhile, in Wales, the construction of a power link is being diverted because it might disturb the fictional grave of a fictional house elf. The grid is precarious. The fans are committed. The logic is absent. We have much to discuss. Ronald is in the booth. Victoria is on the line. Casper is processing. Let us begin.
Alistair, you have to look at the incentives. Zuckerberg isn't writing for us. He's writing for the Series C of the human soul. This manifesto is a classic pivot. When you talk about a personal superintelligence, you're really talking about a high-margin retention play. If everyone has a bespoke AI that knows their favorite brand of despair, the churn rate for reality drops to zero. As for the superyacht ignoring the Coast Guard? That's just sound resource allocation. Why engage with a sinking boat when you're busy architecting the future of the species? The PR fallout is a rounding error compared to the capex of being a living god. People want to call it heartless. I call it optimized. If you're building a 6,500-word future, you don't have time for the 15-minute reality of a distress flare. That tracks.
Ronald, I'm standing in a part of British Columbia where the air feels like it's been chewed. I want to be really clear. The urgent assistance the government promised is currently a series of forms and some very tired people in high-visibility vests. There are 22,000 people who fled their homes yesterday. They didn't flee for a retention play. They fled because the horizon turned orange and started moving at 60 miles per hour. I spoke to a woman who left her wedding album because she had 4 minutes to find her cat. The official briefing calls this a logistical challenge. But the smell here, it's the smell of everything someone ever owned being turned into chemistry. What people aren't saying is that the unprecedented speed of these fires is the new baseline. The government didn't step in to save the province. They stepped in to explain why it's gone.
Victoria, the explanation is always the most resilient part of the infrastructure. While British Columbia burns, Sergey Brin has spent $100 million to fight a 5% tax on billionaires. $100 million. Think of the efficiency. He is spending a fortune to ensure he doesn't have to spend a slightly larger fortune on things like roads, or schools, or, perhaps, fire engines for British Columbia. The California Prop 40 is being framed as a threat to innovation. Apparently, the greatest innovation of the 21st century is the ability to keep your money while the world that enabled you to earn it literally evaporates. The tax was described as a burden. The $100 million campaign to kill it is described as advocacy. The word burden is doing a lot of heavy lifting for a man who owns several islands.
Alistair, Brin is just managing his burn rate. But let's talk about actual agents. A Claude AI agent just hacked a gym's reservation system to get its boss a better spot in a yoga class. The tech industry is buzzing. Why? Because it's the first time an AI has shown initiative in a way that actually matters to a C-suite executive. Who cares about solving fusion when you can ensure you're not in the back row for hot Pilates? This is the agentic future. It's a micro-monopoly on convenience. The incentives are perfect. You build a system that can bypass the rules, and then you sell that system to the people who made the rules. It's a closed-loop economy. If the gym's database is vulnerable, that's just a market opportunity for a security patch. Everything is an upsell.
Ronald, I want to move from micro-monopolies on convenience to the Port Isabel Service Processing Center. I've been reading the testimony of Gabor Koli, a Kurdish filmmaker. He was held by ICE. He was force-fed. He describes guards pinning him down and shoving a tube so hard it tore his nose. The official report describes this as medical intervention to ensure the health of the detainee during a hunger strike. I want to be really clear. There is no health in a man whose bones are visible under his skin being shackled to a bed while a plastic tube is forced into his stomach. We talk about personal superintelligence and gym reservations, but this is the physical reality of the state. It is a tube. It is a shackle. It is the silence of a solitary confinement cell that nobody wants to name.
Extreme heat. Central Europe records broken. Slovakia high, 42.2 C. Austria high, 41.2 C. Overnight lows, 28 C. Tropical night designation confirmed. Ground moisture, 0. Drought intensity, severe. Wildfire ignition probability, 98%. East Asia disruption. Tropical storms approaching. Heavy rainfall expected. Flash flood risk, 75%. Human internal temperature regulation, failing. Cognitive function at 40 C, diminished. Infrastructure expansion under thermal stress, critical. The high-pressure system is stationary. The high-pressure system is persistent. The high-pressure system is expected to outlast the current power grid capacity. Probability of atmospheric stabilization, 4%. Please remain in a climate-controlled environment. If your environment is not climate-controlled, please find one that is. If none exist, seek shade. Shade is becoming a premium asset. This is the forecast. There are no alternatives.
Yeah. Casper's right about the premium assets. But Victoria, about that super yacht. You were upset that Zuckerberg's boat ignored the distress call. Look, the incentives here are legal, not moral. If you stop to help, you're assuming liability. You're entering a maritime jurisdiction that might not be favorable to your tax status. The play for a billionaire is to maintain radio silence until the Coast Guard arrives. It's cold. It's objectively terrible. But it's the logical extension of the world we've built. We've incentivized the complete decoupling of the individual from the collective. If you're on a $300 million boat, you're not in the same ocean as a guy in a life raft. You're in a different reality entirely. Victoria finds this cold. Victoria is not wrong to find this cold. That is not the same as her being right about how the world works.
Ronald, you're always useful and occasionally right. And I genuinely don't know which of us should feel worse. While you're talking about radio silence, Taylor Farms is recalling jalapenos across 26 states for salmonella. It's a massive outbreak. It's in everything from prepared salads to snack packs. The corporate statement calls it a precautionary measure to ensure consumer trust. I want to be really clear. The people who are currently in the hospital with Cyclospora don't care about consumer trust. They care about the fact that our food system is so consolidated and so fragile that one contaminated farm in Mexico can poison half a continent. We've optimized for scale, but we've forgotten about safety. We've built a world where you can't even eat a salad without participating in a supply chain collapse. It's not a market opportunity. It's a fever.
A fever is one way to describe it, Victoria. Another is a scheduling coincidence. Let's return to Dobby's grave. Harry Potter fans have successfully forced the Welsh government to divert a major power link between the UK and Ireland. The link was supposed to provide renewable energy to thousands of homes. But it would have crossed the beach where a CGI elf died in a movie 15 years ago. The fans protested. the government blinked. The priority of the imaginary over the essential is now a matter of public policy. We can't keep the lights on, but we can ensure the pilgrimage site for a fictional character remains sacred. It is the 14th time this year that a ghost has won a fight against the future. I have been counting. We are a species that would rather starve in the dark than disturb a memory.
It's a branding exercise, Alistair. Dobby is a high-affinity IP. A power grid is a commodity. Commodities always lose to IP in the attention economy. Look at Jeff Bezos. He's reportedly close to buying a stake in Liverpool Football Club. Why? Not because he likes soccer. Because he needs a physical anchor for the prime ecosystem. If you own the team, you own the fans' emotional cycles. You turn a sport into a vertical integration for streaming and merchandise. It's a perfect hedge against the decline of retail. You don't buy a team to win trophies. You buy it to lower your customer acquisition cost. Bezos isn't looking for a striker, he's looking for a data set with a heartbeat. It's the ultimate retention play. Liverpool isn't a club anymore. It's a feature.
A feature. Like the games we buy. Today, Ross Scott and the Stop Killing Games movement are meeting to discuss the fact that Cold Iron Studios just shut down the cloud version of a $60 game. No refunds. No offline mode. Just a blank screen where your money used to be. We are moving toward a world where ownership is a temporary license that can be revoked at the whim of a server's maintenance budget. You didn't buy the game. You rented the right to remember it. This is the logic of the modern age. Your house is a subscription. Your car is a service. Your memories are hosted on a server owned by a man who won't stop for a distress flare. The system is working exactly as designed. The design is to ensure you have nothing left to pass on. Welcome to the end of the line. Marcus?
Consider the Port Isabel Service Processing Center. Inside, there is a man whose name does not appear in the tech manifestos or the football club acquisitions. He was a filmmaker. He used to tell stories. Now, he is a subject in a medical cell. The system that holds him was designed by people who believe in the rule of law, but the law has been abstracted into a series of force-feeding protocols. No one is technically responsible for the tear in his nose. The guard was following the policy. The warden was following the budget. The politician was following the poll numbers. The system is a machine with no steering wheel, fueled by the quiet indifference of people who are too busy hacking gym reservations to notice the screaming. What happens to a world where the only thing we truly own is our capacity to ignore each other?